Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Hey, I am so pumped for this video because I got a bottle that I can guarantee basically nobody has. It's really neat. So essentially what happened is a supervisor of a distillery reached out to me, a distillery that I guarantee you've probably heard of, and I was like, hey, I've been a supervisor here for a long time. And part of the deal as being, one of the initial hires was that I got the unique opportunity to fill my own barrel from some of the first runs of a new recipe. And he's like, I'm actually emptying that barrel because it's time. I thought maybe you wanted a bottle of it. And what's cool about this is that it's from one of my favorite distilleries, Bardstown Bourbon Company. He autographed it. It's the 8th barrel they ever filled with this recipe, okay, when they first started it up in 2016. And you might be saying, Ryan, I have a single barrel of Bardstown. What's the big deal that you got a single barrel bottle? Here's the difference. There are no single barrels of that recipe. There just aren't. You're not going to find a bottle of a single barrel of that recipe from Bardstown Bourbon Company out on any shelf out there. Why? Because right now, this is the mash bill that they do that with their single barrel program, okay? So this is the 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley recipe. This is the one that's in circulation right now that people have, and it's 6 years old. It's the same mash bill that you get off this Origin series, right? The white label Origin series, which came out this year, the beginning of the year. They first started the Origin series, putting it out on shelves, 6 years old. It's the same mash bill as the 96 proof Origin series white label. But my bottle is not that. Okay, my bottle is a single barrel of one of my favorite bottles from them, the Origin series black label, which I've talked about several times on the channel. But the black label from the Origin series is their wheated bourbon. So this has no rye in it at all. It's 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malted barley. And my single barrel is unique in a couple of ways because A, like I said, it's the only single barrel bottle out there right now that anyone has of that recipe. Not only that, but this black label, which I think is phenomenal and people have been raving about, is 6 years old. This is a single barrel, 7 years old. 8th barrel they ever filled with that recipe. How freaking cool is that? Not to mention it is 125.8 proof. So this is bottled in bond, the black label, at 100 proof. So I got mine at cask strength, barrel proof, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty cool. He even signed it. So big shout out to Andrew Jury. Thank you so much, man. That is so kind of you. So this is from his private barrel. Freaking awesome, man. I'm going to open it. I'm going to taste it. We'll see how good this is. Because maybe one day they will start putting out single barrel offerings of this recipe. Andrew, what a boss. I'm going to try and savor this because this is a really special moment. Let's pour it. There she be. Ooh, get hit with that heat up front. I get hit with a big wave of fresh caramel candies that you would get at a small mom and pop store. You know, those little fresh caramel candies they would make, real chewy and gooey. Tons of caramel and vanilla on that nose. Also some great viscosity to it as well. Leaving some nice thick runs coming down the side of the glass, but you can see those. Look at those drops. Look at the size of those drops. I love that. That means we're in for a nice oily mouthfeel probably, and a nice long finish. Let's get a caramel macchiato or a caramel latte as well on the nose. Just a hint of that coffee bitterness in there, and plenty of sweet, creamy caramel. Man, that's a delightful nose. Let's try it. I get sweet and cinnamon right up front on the palate. Kind of makes me think of a cinnamon roll. Fresh, gooey Cinnabon cinnamon roll. And that cinnamon spice kind of transitions into a nice wave of heat that comes from that proof point, no doubt. But it's a real sweet heat. And transitions then, the finish is just full of vanilla and oak. That nice kind of barrel funk note that you get on a well-aged spirit. Man, I really do feel like that cinnamon roll note is so prevalent from start to finish, because you almost have that savoriness that you get with the bread, and a lot of the sweetness, that caramel sweetness and the vanilla sweetness kind of reminds me of the inside gooiness of that cinnamon roll with the frosting running down through it, and a little bit of that spicy heat, which makes me think of the cinnamon. It's a nice cohesive package there. Single barrel, barrel proof, 7-year wheated bourbon from Bardstown Bourbon Company, and that's really good. I mean, it's really good. That sweet vanilla just kind of clings to the inside of my mouth for a long time. It's actually so much sweeter than I expected it to be, but not in a bad way. It's not one note. It's a nice complex package. but it's like a dessert whiskey. Yeah, that's a pretty special pour. Thanks again, Andrew. I really appreciate your generosity. And maybe sometime soon we'll start to see their wheated bourbon in single barrel offerings on shelves around us too. I feel like it's inevitable because the Origin series has been so well received that I feel like that's sort of an inevitability that eventually they're going to start offering single barrel expressions of it. They're also kind enough to send me a full like press kit too, so I got a couple of nice like smaller sized bottles of the Origin series. They even hooked me up with a nice little Discovery Series 10 bottle as well. I've got the 11 on the shelf right there, and I've got the 8 right there. Maybe that would be a fun thing to do. Blind 3 different, that could be kind of a fun video. Compare them, rank them. Yeah, let's do that. Anyways, thanks so much everybody for tuning in for this special bottle. It was a great experience to be able to taste that, open that up with you guys. Hey, big shout out to my Patreon supporters. You guys are the reason that I can do this channel, buy these bottles, and take the time to review them, edit the videos, all that stuff. So big shout out to y'all for making this channel a reality. Hey, if you enjoyed the video or any of my videos at all, hey, feel free to support me by leaving a like on the video. It's totally free, and it's the best way to support the content here. And consider subscribing for additional whiskey content. And if you'd like to join our community on Discord, make sure you check the link in the description. There's also a link to the Patreon where you can join for just $1 a month. And that would help me out too. Cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age. Be warm and well fed. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.